It's Wednesday afternoon and we're getting ready for Logos, but it's also the last Wednesday of our midweek meditation of this Lenten season. Today we talked about forgiveness and what that looks like and how are we called to forgive. I shared with the group today that many years ago I read a book that really had a strong impact on me as far as forgiveness is concerned, and especially about this juncture in our Holy Week. The book is called A Gentle Thunder by Max Lucado, and he starts out by sharing this scripture from John 13. Jesus knew that the Father had given him power over everything, and that he had come from God and was going back to God. So during the meal, Jesus stood up and took off his outer clothing. Taking a towel, he wrapped it around his waist. Then he poured water into a bowl and began to wash the followers' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. This is compelling because the lowest duty that any household servant could have was to wash the feet of the people who were coming in to have dinner or whatever. As soon as they walked in the door, after walking everywhere on dusty roads, the servant would meet them with a towel and with a basin and would wash their feet, because then they could enter into the house feeling refreshed. It's interesting that the one who is about to be betrayed, the one who is going to go to the cross for everyone, is the one who begins to wash the feet of the disciples. Now, what's really intriguing is that just before this, we see in Scripture that there was an argument that was rising up between the disciples. They each wanted to make sure they were at the top of the heap, and who was going to get to sit at Jesus' right hand, and who was greater than the other. So they come to the last time they're going to have a meal with Jesus before his death. And Jesus takes the role of the most lowly servant. Here's the compelling part Lucado finishes with. As far as the secret to forgiveness, it's this: you will never forgive anyone more than God has already forgiven you. Only by letting him wash your feet can you have strength to wash those of another. Still hard to imagine? Is it still hard to consider the thought of forgiving the one who hurt you? If so, go one more time to that room. Watch Jesus as he moves from disciple to disciple. Can you see him? Can you hear the water splash? Can you hear him shuffle on the floor to the next person? Good. Keep that image. John 13:12 says, when he had finished washing their feet. Please note, he finished washing their feet. That means he left no one out. Why is that important? Because that also means he washed the feet of Judas. Jesus washed the feet of his betrayer. He gave his traitor equal attention. In just a few hours, Judas's feet would guide the Roman guard to Jesus. But at this moment, they are caressed by Christ. That's not to say it was easy for Jesus. That's not to say it's easy for you. That is to say that God will never call you to do what he hasn't already done. I think Lucado really hits a very strong point here. There is no forgiveness like the forgiveness of Christ. So as you complete your Lenten journey, focus on that, how you are forgiven forever. I'll see you tomorrow night at Maundy Thursday.